Not long after the movie started, I could tell Hostel 1 had raked in a good amount of profit. The production values seemed to have risen, and the set was grander and of higher quality. In Hostel 1, the lair, it reminded me of like a backwater, filthy filled building where you need a tetanus shot just looking at the place. Then part 2 comes along, and it's spruced up, going more towards an old money, gothic, state-of-the-art paradise, direction for the sick and deranged. It's got a splash of sophistication now, and order. I appreciate them not repeating and simply regurgitating the first movie and being purely a snatch and slash. Eli and his team pulled back the curtain, showing a bit of how this organization operated. We get to see the head honcho, his bloodhounds, and the other side of the contract if the contract isn't filled on the buyer's part, which, as a viewer rooting for the victims, it is a nice touch. This time around, I had sympathy for all 3 of the main characters, and it wasn't because they were all women. These girls had more respect and class for others. I mean, they were likable and relatable. Our 2 main butchers had a nice twist of who turned out to truly be a ruthless killer. The savagery and amount of bloody special effects are turned up a couple notches and more disturbing, a bit more visceral. Once again, we get a nice revenge from our survivor and how the recruiter gets their comeuppance, which their death is also raised to a high degree of cruelty and disturbing nature. The only thing I didn't care for is how this movie paints Europe for Americans. Sure, they also butcher their own people, but the impression was clear to me. Europe is not safe, and even more so for Americans. Also, the movies were giving me the impression that boys from America are horn dogs and boys from Europe are predators. Now, whether that was intentional or not, I don't know. Or maybe I'm just looking into it wrong or too deep. However, like the first, this is a recommendation from me for sure.